We have another maintenance video for you. Today we're going to be talking about the caulking on the outside of your trailer. You should be inspecting the outside of your trailer at least twice a year. Once when you take it out of storage at the beginning of the season, and once before you put it in storage at the end of the season. If you see any caulking that is cracking or no longer sealing, you need to get right on that. The last thing you want is water getting into your trailer. A little investment in time, work, and money in maintenance is much better than the time, work, and money involved if you have to do a repair. So let's get started. I started with doing an inspection of the outside of the trailer. I was checking along the sides of the trailer, and I noticed on this side, in the main portion of it, the caulking was cracked and water could easily get in. Right under where you put in the water, I had a real good look at it, and look at that. You can see right there, there's an opening all along there. So, have to fix that. It's not a fun job to do. It takes a lot of work, but you got to get to it. You got to protect your investment. You got to protect the floor. If you don't fix this, water's going to get in. You're going to rot your floor. You might rot your walls. You'll get the lamination. So this is something that you really need to do. So I'll show you what we did. WD-40 helps break the caulking down. Spent a lot of time removing all the old silicone caulking. Used WD-40 to start with, then used a paint scraper to scrape it all off. Used some mineral spirits. I used Varsol to clean up the rest of it, and then I washed it all down with some soapy water. So it's good and clean now, feels good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some painter's tape on it. We're going to make it so that we can do a real nice bead on it. Using the ProFlex RV seal. This is a good replacement for the original silicone caulking. The original silicone caulking, you can't attach anything to it. This, if you use this and you need to touch it up later on, this will adhere to itself. So it's good for doing touches up later on. Now what you want to do is do a very small hole in the end of this. You want a small bead. You can always press the trigger more on this to make a thicker bead or to add more, but you don't want it coming out too big. Now this little tool right here, it is for putting caulking on rather than using your finger and wiping it on. This has a rubber tip on it, and it acts like your finger, and you can use this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet this in some soapy water, and then I'm going to spread this on. And before it dries, you want to take off the tape. So you have a nice line there. Want to be careful here and not touch the caulking I just put in there. So be very careful. This type of trim caulking, hopefully I only have to do it every 3 or 4 years, but I do need to keep on top of it. I didn't do the entire trailer this time. I only did the area that actually needed it. That makes for a much smaller job. When the other areas start to crack, then I'll do them smaller jobs because it's not a fun job. So I'd much rather do it in smaller bits and pieces.